So I've been looking around at these fast food tier lists, and I thought I'd give my take from not really an American perspective, obviously, because I'm Australian, and things are quite different in Australia, right? So we don't have a lot of those ones that you would find in America, like there's like Chick-fil-A and things like that, and Five Guys or whatever it was, and Arby's and all these other things. But we do have some others that are kind of unique to Australia, I think. So I want to kind of get into and put in my take. So right off the bat, what should I start with here? What should I start with? Well, think I should start with McDonald's because a lot of these tier lists are kind of rating McDonald's pretty highly. And it's not really something I can get behind, to be honest. I don't know if it's going to be that different in America compared to Australia, but I know in Australia it's just pretty bad, to be honest. I mean, they make good hot beverages, they make good coffees and hot chocolates, but when it comes to just their food, it's absolutely trash. It's absolute trash tier. So that's why straight off the bat, when some people put it up here, I'm just like, wait, what? I would put it at F. Maybe E. I might give it some benefit of the doubt. I would put it in E. I wouldn't go straight to F, I guess. But I don't rate McDonald's at all. At all. Because it's just like, it all tastes the same and it's all consistently bad. It's just like, the buns are just barely there. And it's all just processed garbage, in my opinion. Anyway, that's my take. We have KFC. I wanted to also address KFC because it's kind of the opposite is happening, right? KFC is getting a lot of hate. The thing about KFC for me, though, is that their chips, because of their seasoning, is just like some of the best fast food chips that you can get, hands down, because of that seasoning. McDonald's doesn't have that seasoning, they just put salt on it, but because of KFC's seasoning on their chips, that just puts them above and beyond for me. So I've got to put them highly. I really enjoy KFC. So I would put them about here. I'm kind of still indecisive right now. Do I want to put them at A? Would I be okay with A? Because it's more of a carry, to be honest. Because the chips in KFC is more of a carry and the rest of the food isn't as good as their chips, I don't want to put it at A tier just because it's getting carried. I will admit that the chips are carrying it, but I still don't think it's as bad as other people are saying, so I might put it at B. If you're a huge fan, you could easily put it A, and I would kind of agree with that, but I'm going to put it at B. So what else we got here? We got Hungry Jack's. And I would probably put Hungry Jack's on par with KFC, kind of for the opposite reason. Hungry Jack's, as you can probably tell by the logo, I'm not sure if it's international, but they are very known for their burgers, and they do have quite good burgers, so it's kind of the opposite. KFC has probably the best chips, and they're more renowned for their burgers. So I would kind of put them on the same level for that reason. What else we got here? Red Rooster, I don't really rate that highly. They're another sort of fast food chain. These are kind of like a major four in Australia. I'm not sure if Red Rooster and Hungry Jack's are international again, but I don't rate this that highly either. I don't think it's as bad as McDonald's though, so I'm going to put it at D. As you can probably tell, this is kind of like, you know what McDonald's is all about, you know what KFC is all about. This is mainly burgers, and this Red Rooster has a lot of like fried chicken and stuff like that. It's kind of like KFC, but not as good in my opinion. So we also have Domino's, and I really enjoy Domino's. A lot of the complaints have been, oh, Domino's pizza's like really bland, tastes like cardboard, blah blah blah. But I like Domino's pizza. I really enjoy it. I still think it's not terrible. It doesn't blow you away, in my opinion. There's some local places that can do better pizza, but You know, some of the local places that I go to, I would rate their pizzas as like an 8. And I would put this Domino's as like a consistent 6 or a 7. And because you got more Domino chains and more places, you know that it's a safer guarantee, like 6 or 7. Whereas it's a bit hit or miss at local places. You can get like a 4 or 5, or sometimes a 3. Some of them really aren't that great. So I'm tempted to, I don't want to clog up the B tier, but I'm going to probably put it at B. I'm okay with B. Yeah, I'm okay with B tier. I'm okay with B tier pizza. There are obviously local places that are going to be better. But as far as fast food sort of pizza places go, I think Domino's is probably the best you can get in Australia. Which brings us to Pizza Hut. I don't rate Pizza Hut as much as Domino's. Not that it's bad, but I just don't rate Pizza Hut as high as Domino's. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not sure, like, and this was so long ago that I've had this, but Pinky's Pizza, I'm not sure if that's like a big chain, but I remember having Pinky's Pizza a lot when I was younger, and I enjoyed that pizza. But again, is it as good as Domino's? Another thing you have to consider about Domino's is their quality of delivery. They do have a pretty high standard when it comes to delivery, and that's got to also give them points, which makes their B tier sort of more secure, in my opinion. So I would put them at B. Here's another thing that I want to address. This is like so far different from a lot of other places. They trash talk Subway a lot. A lot. Most lists just trash talk Subway a lot, and I cannot get behind it. Because it's got to be different, because every time I go to Subway, it's good stuff. I mean, the quality is not that bad. Obviously, when they say, oh yeah, eat fresh. Like, I've worked at a Subway before. It's obviously not fresh. But, like, most places aren't fresh, to be honest. With some exceptions, right? Like, not fresh, not fresh, not fresh, not fresh. Like, not fresh also. But I don't think that undercuts it from being bad. Every time I go to Subway, I'm hugely satisfied with what I get. Obviously, I have my preference, and I always go in ordering what I want. But it's pretty consistent for me in terms of quality. I always make and eat a good tasting sub. Every single time. There's not really any dip in quality for me. So that has to be a difference between Australia and America. I don't know why, but Subway's really good in Australia. That's all I'll say. What else we got? Okay, I'll just get on to Snits and Grilled. Now these are, I'm pretty sure, Australian exclusives, and I sort of compare them. They're very closely related in terms of the food they offer, in my opinion. They're not fantastic. They're not bad, again, but they're not fantastic. I would probably place Grilled above Snits if I had to pick between them. So that's probably how it'll be on the tier list. And I would probably put them just sort of middle of the road, right? I'd probably put Snits at C tier. And I'll put Grilled at B tier. There seems to be a spike, but a lot of lists are like this, where it's just sort of like center of the road around the B and C tier. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. This is kind of like amazing range. This is kind of like middle of the road. This is kind of like below average to bad, and this is like the worst, right? See, here's the thing with Taco Bell. It's like, from what I can tell, it's just like incredibly good. But here's the thing about Taco Bell in Australia. It's so few and far between that maybe a lot of Australians haven't even eaten it. Because like, I know that it's barely, based on my living experience in Australia, there's really not very many chains of Taco Bell. So most places don't even have one. And I've eaten at Taco Bell like once or twice for that reason. And it didn't really blow me away. I don't really understand the appeal of it. So I would kind of put it along the same lines as Red Rooster for me. That's probably going to be controversial and trigger a lot of people, but I would kind of put it at D. Slightly below average. It didn't really blow me away. So we got Nando's and Oporto left, and Nando's is quality. Nando's is quality. They offer a lot of spicy food, and I'm a bit of a sucker for spice, to be honest. Which is why I'm probably going to rate them fairly high. Sort of above average, so sort of above C at the very least, which is probably why it's going to go towards B. But then again, like, I actually really do enjoy Nando's. So I could even put it sort of between B and A, or even go A. Because I really do enjoy the spice. And I'm probably going to do that, actually, because I really do enjoy the spice. The quality of food in Nando's is definitely above Hungry Jack's and KFC. And I've got them at B. And in terms of what they offer, I kind of prefer it to pizza. Like, pizza's always a solid option, but in terms of the food they offer at Nando's, I kind of rate it above what these guys offer. So it's going to be at A. And Oporto is a Mexican place in Australia, and it is easily going in S. I don't know if many places have this, but I've eaten at Oporto, and it is by far the best fast food I've ever eaten. It is so good. It's like it's a Mexican place. If a lot of people get hyped about Taco Bell, if Taco Bell is a Mexican place, which I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, it has been a while since I've eaten there. Taco Bell's sort of a Mexican place, and people get really hyped about it. They get hyped about Taco Bell the same way I get hyped about Oporto. The food there is so good. It is so good. Their chips are so good. Their burritos are so good. Easily S tier for me. If you are an Australian and you haven't eaten Oporto, or if you know that you have an Oporto chain near you, go and eat there, because I absolutely rate their food. I think it's incredible. So yeah, that's kind of from my perspective, being an Australian, that's kind of how I would rate fast food places. There's a lot of places in America that you just don't have here, I'm pretty sure. And there's a lot of places, maybe, because I live in Victoria, right? I've eaten in places like Sydney and things like that as well, but there might be some Western Australia places that I've never eaten at. So that's kind of where we're sitting at. Let me know what you think about that. Let me know if you discovered new places you never heard of, or if you're a fellow Australian, do you agree with this list? I mean, how would you rate the food? Do you agree that Subway's underrated and McDonald's is overrated? Like I do. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, and thanks for watching.